plus countries all across the world, and he interacted with people that don't have media access. So I'm going to invite on stage Osama Manzar, which is founder and director for Digital Empowerment Foundation in India, who's going to speak about enriching internet with the voices of masses of diversity, culture, heritage, and language.
Okay, so I thought I will make something to speak. I come from a small country called India. Yeah, it's actually very small, and I will tell you how. I want to give you a few numbers so that you can figure out, because most of the people who are sitting here, most of the people who have come from various parts of the world, where perhaps the literacy and education is 100%. You all can read and write, your audience can read and write. But India is a country which is, very interestingly, 1.3 billion people, and it is the second highest connected country in the world, and also the first country not connected to the internet. So why it is the most highest, second highest connected? Because they have 290 million Facebook subscribers, they have about 300 plus million internet subscribers, but it has also got 1 billion people not connected to internet, which is perhaps the highest in the world. No other country has so many people not connected. And so just give you a few numbers. Only 60% of India has got mobile connectivity in absolute terms. 72% of all women do not have any access to any device. 72%. And 92% of rural women have no access to any device. And 72% of all women. So it clearly shows how patriarchal the country is, where women always get second chance or third chance to access to any media. But it is also one of the highest influential countries in the world to be online. We have 350 million smartphone penetration, which is not enough. So when I came to Bratislava, I realized that this entire population is my neighborhood in my city in Delhi. And maybe we will be more than you here, and that is also exaggeration. So actually, how do we work with a country where functional literacy or illiteracy is more than 50%? More than 23 languages are official. And if you talked about dialects, there are several, and there are no script at all. There are many people. So if people do not know what is computer, what is IT, and what is mobile, and what is button, click, keyboard, how do you make them digitally literate? Is what we have been doing for the last 15, 16 years. When Franak said that, there are stories of our country where people don't know how to be literate, they don't, share information written. They are now using mobile to upload content. They are using now computers to upload content. And they click the button to go to YouTube without knowing what are the alphabets. So how do they do it? For them, it's a sign. So that's the reason why WhatsApp is extremely popular, and why it is very popular is because I record my voice and I post it. And I take a video, I post it. So I can listen, I can talk, but I don't know how to read and write. And that's the reason why emojis are very popular in India. We keep on making our own emojis also. So that's how the literacy and education goes on and on in our country. And I wanted to talk about, the slides are coming, and I have my own slides, just to give you a kind of, not to be powerful with the PowerPoint, as how to be powerless without power. So this is my slide. So, this is how we take, oral information and sign languages and photographs to show people. But you know why I am showing this? Because it has got a story of people living in the villages who are 350 million such people who are poorest of the poor, whose monthly income is less than $50. Monthly income is less than $50. And they are dependent on ration. Do you know ration? Like subsidy given by the government, like 10 kgs of rice and 50 kgs of this and that. You can't avail it without being identified by biometric machine. And that's a digital device. And I cannot avail it without filling a form, which is literacy and education, and to go and submit it somewhere to become a member eligible for that. And this is all information, this is all literacy, this is all media, and none of these are accessible without digital devices. So this story is actually of the people. We have about 5,000 to 10,000 such people all across villages who actually have a media center and the literacy center and the education center where people come and they say that this is what I am, this is my identity, and we fill the form, these intermediaries fill the form on their behalf, and they are submitted, and that is how they get access. And how important it is, because otherwise they will, you type India, you type hunger, death, by biometric, and you will get hundreds of news where people being told that your fingerprint is not matched with the biometric, and they didn't get ration, and they went hungry and they died. So there are many, many such news. So in this case, information is critical. It's so critical that I can lose my life, and since I am illiterate, uneducated, I can be exploited by anybody. So those are the kind of story that I wanted to share. The other story that I thought with another, powerful tool of my paper. So this is another story this is a positive and interesting story from the perspective of India is famous for heritage, language, culture, and all those things. And this is the story of how people are taught media, and they are using mobile and camera and everything to digitize heritage and put it online. So this is the story of those kind of, thing. And at the end of 15 years of our working, what we realized that how do you teach people who are oral? So then we started making posters like these, which is a snake and ladder game. And when you don't put up a username and password, the snake will bite you and you go down. And if you go online, then you put password and everything and be secure, then the ladder will take you up. So this is the game that we play in villages, and the game which is created especially for such kind of people. And you can have tomorrow's workshop and more visibility to this. And there are more stuff. And finally, since you showed me 5 minutes, I guess, this is the scarf, which you will see here. You can buy it if you want. They are quite fascinating. All the funds raised will go to the villages. But what the story is that we have lots of artisans and weavers who live in the villages. And they have no idea how exotic things they make, which can have an international market. So now they are being taught to become designer on computers with CAD/CAM. And after that, they weave it, and they put it online, and they sell it online. And we are now doing, with Facebook, 50,000 such women training who can put it online all the time and earn better economy. So these are some of the fascinating stories of how the rich people with rich language and culture who live in an economically poor state can become rich using digital media, information media, and become media literate without really becoming literate, and use the oral medium of the modern technology. I always feel that mobile is the most empowering tool for those people who have been orally communicating. So I don't have to now become literate in terms of reading and writing, but I can equally be literate using the oral powerful technology of mobile, and I can go online and be more powerful. Thank you. And you all are invited to India. It's not a small country, it's a large country. From one top to the other, it takes 4 hours to go. But if anybody wants to work with us, travel around the country, we work in about 22 states, in about 100 locations, with about 500 people work in various villages. So I really mean, anybody wants to experience exotic life, please come to India.
That is 4 hours by plane.
Sari weaving isn't just our livelihood, it's our passion. One that's been with us for 700 years. We weave our saris in a magnificent palace, once occupied by the king of Madhya Pradesh. Its beauty and charm inspires us to create beauty in return. We are constantly striving to explore new avenues of creativity. We want the world to experience our designs and appreciate the artistry of our craft. A tradition we are proud to share far and wide, from Chanderi to you. Learn more at chanderia.net.
So this is one of those projects that we thought that we'll show you in 1 minute of video. There is a small story behind this. This advertisement was not made by us, made by Intel, and they spent to make this ad on our project more money than we spent on the project. So, thank you.
Thank you. I see that you already have some questions, Osama.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But then again, like when Osama said 4 hours by plane. Like I recently spent Thursday. I just came from India after 2 weeks, and you're gonna have a culture shock.
And many cultural shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the question?
So many people don't know. Well, the question changed. So I think we can get all of them. Osama, I think you can read them as well.
How exposed Indian people to foreign propaganda?
Yeah.
Well, a lot. Because actually in our country, WhatsApp is the first source and the last source of news, in bracket fake, or in bracket misinformation. You know, it's so, I forgot to tell you, recently we signed up with WhatsApp to do a nationwide workshop on misinformation, to fight misinformation and fake news. We have done about 20, with the 30 more to go, and we are doing it to all kind of people. So the answer is yes, and there is a lot of effort going on all across the country to fight it.
Second one, I think it's more of an affirmation. Many people don't know to read and write, but are digital savvy, I think. This is why emojis are so popular in India.
Yeah, so that's the same thing that I said. So
Yep. Afterwards, India is the most connected and least
those
connected.
are not questions; those are quotes, I guess.
Yeah. Ah, okay.
Those are
Yeah.
quotes. Yeah.
It's a combination. Yeah. Great. Questions, if there are any.
Yeah. Anybody? 10 questions will do. Yeah.
Do you think that this, I mean, WhatsApp have done these workshops that you mentioned, plus they had like grassroots campaign with people in the streets wearing green T-shirts, etc. Do you think that these are effective, taking into account how many people died because of fake news circulating through WhatsApp?
Yeah, so the reason why we tied up is, or they tied up with us, is also because we work in rural areas. So there are not many people work in rural areas, so access is always challenging. So that is one of the reasons that we are doing this workshop. They have just supported financially to us to do. So what we are doing is that we do workshop with police and the local administration, and we bring all the colleges and the young people, adolescents and NGOs, and we do the workshop there. And we have developed a curriculum kind of thing, which we use WhatsApp group to propagate to them. They are, I would say, I mean, 50 workshop in a country like India is nothing, but it's a start. It's certainly a start. And today's, as of now, when I'm talking to you, we had about 5 states elections, and the results are very positive. So there are effects in the country where people are realizing the difference between misinformation and information.
Cool. Let's make a deal. Keep the Slido for saying the phrases which you gotten out, and keep the floor for discussion.
Okay, so this is interesting question. Somebody asked that how do they navigate if they are illiterate? What software do they use? So if you don't take it otherwise, but this question itself says that you are so literate you cannot figure out if this question is even relevant to them. You know, so the reason is that there is a world who cannot even think that basic literacy is not necessary to get online. So for example, when I work in a village, there are guys who are on YouTube. I come, I do not know any keyboard. They said, how did you go? He said, these are the 5 buttons I clicked. And I memorized those, 5 buttons, and then the next time I am actually going to click those for Google, or the 6 later for something else. And then gradually, the alphabets are known by practicing and later. Not that you know alphabet first and then access. So it's something like, my name is Osama. I know caricaturely how to write Osama. So I make a circle, make something. If I'm a kid of 6 months or 1 year or 1.5 years, and then I figure out these are 5 letters of 26 alphabets, and then gradually I come to know these are alphabets actually is used as a manufacturing tool for writing letters, or words. So it's opposite. It's not really you become alphabetically disorderly and then you become literate.
Other questions?
Any other question? Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.